Welcome to the first edition of By the Way, remarks regarding the remarkable events in this community of ours, this little spaced out do-nothing community. So this is the first and probably last edition. We'll see how it's received, or if it's received. But it's not a rip-off, in case anyone's probably thinking already. It's not a rip-off of Emendum's What the Fuck series, because I do mine on Wednesday nights, and Emendum does his on Sundays, so it's different. It's totally different. But yes, I shall discuss some of the things that went on, because we've got a lot of shit going on, and I've actually been watching pretty much all of it. I've been glued to the YouTubes, because it's probably the best thing out there. And I have no cable, because I'm too cheap to buy cable. And I wouldn't watch cable anyway, because cable sucks ass. And this actually has substance too, unlike cable, because for all the fucking goddamn little, time-wasty prank video, there's probably, a 10-to-1 ratio of an actual good video. Mainly coming from like a couple of people, but still. One of the people that makes good videos goes by the name of Emendum, who does the What the Fucks, which this is not being plagiarized on. And he got into a bit of a scruff with this guy who goes by the name of Voices in the Head, who went by the name of Soup Excellency. And the guy's a total nut. He actually drove out to Emendum's town, but at this point everybody knows that. But yeah, he drove up to the guy's town so he can... I'm glad though, I didn't even see what he did. I didn't even have the temptation to click on any of those videos, because that just feeds them. But I heard from Emendum that the guy apparently went all the way out there so he can say fuck you Emendum, just like he did in New York, and just like that YouTube police guy did in all these different places. And they think that's a victory for them, and it's just so funny. But he got suspended for his troubles, so yeah, I guess justice is served somewhat. It was funny though, because I heard Emendum mention it back in Stickam on Saturday. I think it was Stickam. And he sort of laughed it off. He said, I'm not even going to bother watching him because it's just so obvious that I win. So Emendum seemed pretty, just shrugged it off his shoulder to begin with. And then he actually did get kind of pissed off that this guy actually went ahead and did this and filmed his house. But really, who the fuck cares? The house, I didn't see the videos, but I can imagine... Gary was pretty pissed off, so again, the house was a mess, but everybody's goddamn house is a mess, okay? What's the percentage here of people who keep their house neat and tidy, especially a house that big, neat and tidy at all times? I got a small 470 square feet apartment, and my apartment's a goddamn fucking mess. I can't even keep my little balcony clean. I've got these pigeons who they've built a nest and now they're hatching some eggs. And I'll actually show that. I'm not bullshitting that. They actually are hatching some eggs on my balcony. And I'm too lazy to get them the hell out of there. So, and I live in a little tiny apartment. So, the fact that Gary's house looks the way it does, considering how big it is and considering that it is March and not summer, big fucking deal. So you don't gotta worry about that. But I did see a comment from Emendum, and he sort of said he's his own white knight, and it sort of... He seemed a little somber when he was saying it. He seemed a little, it got him down that he's his own white knight and not many people will stick up for him. Emendum, I think a lot more people would stick up for you if you had done a bad job sticking up for yourself. But there's just really no need. You destroy the opposition. You destroy all these trolls so eloquently and so fiercely that there really is no point of, helping you out, because it's so obvious to anyone with any sort of fairness built-in mechanism in their own intelligence. So don't worry about the seemingly lack of video support when you're taking on these pricks, because it's not needed. You do a good enough job yourself. Same thing happened at Bloggerheads. Not too much video support. It was sort of like Emendum against the whole community, because he had the people arguing for capitalism and trying to convolute the issue, trying to strawman him. He was simply saying, well, we should have limits to how much the richest people make and how much the standard capitalism rhetoric. The people who say, well, we just want everybody to get paid the same amount. when that's not what Emendum said in a single video. Doctors shouldn't make as much as, you know, plumbers. So yeah, straw man. And then of course there's the attachment to nepotism, which they never actually articulate how it's a good investment for society. But again, that the pizza shit guy resorts to games. I mean, I watched a bit of his YouTube video, and it was just so overtly obvious that the guy is doing nothing but character assassinating Emendum, and yeah, just convoluting the issue, just drawing these weird little. Well, you know, you use the cuss word, so yeah, that's an automatic disqualification to the debate. It's just such silly shit. I mean, for this guy who's supposed to be so mature and so, well, whatever. I mean, I shouldn't even bring the fucker up, because he really is he's probably one of the worst people I've ever heard, you know, argue. Really. He's so desperate to defend his idea of how a society should be engineered that he just resorts to such obvious just character attacks and just these little petty, well, I'm going to pick this out. You said the word fuck 3 times in a video, so I'm going to say you made a video that's just 10 minutes of fuck, fuck, fuck. Yeah, right. So what else? So yes, Stickam. Stickam, Emendum does Saturday nights on, he spends about, it's probably the best 6 hours on the whole internet. It's entertaining in so many levels, because there's the debates, which they do get a little crazy sometimes, and there's also just jargon. But you know, Emendum's a pretty good damn host. So he even makes jargon sound interesting. I mean, it's better than all this mainstream hack crap, the Conans and the Lenos and the Lettermans. You know, if Emendum had his own fucking goddamn talk show, it would be 10 times better, because he would actually bring the, you know, little jargony shit, and he would actually be opinionated, which a lot of these hosts aren't allowed to do. But yeah, another reason why I don't bother with cable anymore. Fuck! How the fuck did 6 minutes pass? I got so much more shit, but it looks like I'm gonna run out of time, because I can't fucking upload more than 11 minutes at a time, and I can't edit either, so it's going to be screwed up. So what else did Emendum do? Yeah, I'm mainly going to cover Emendum stuff, because I've sort of got a allergy to bullshit, seeing as how I'm the anti-bullshit-man. So I mainly, you know, stick to his videos. So he used to do this, he stopped now, but a couple of weeks ago he did this two heads, one guy thing, and it was pretty good. I sort of wanted to copy him on that as well, but I don't have a rolling chair, so if I were to do the 2 heads, 1 guy thing, it'd sort of be contrived, because I don't, you know, because I can almost see myself move, whereas he has a rolling chair, so it makes it work. But I'm too cheap to buy a rolling chair, so fuck it. Back to Stickam, I forgot to mention, I want to goddamn join in on the Stickam experience, but I don't see why every single video site, live video site, has to have web cameras as the only option to record yourself. No, I don't want to buy a fucking web camera for, what, how much? A web camera that actually works. I bought a webcam for like $95 and it wouldn't goddamn work, but I bought it secondhand. But you know, why can't we have regular camcorders be applied for these live video sites? It makes no sense. Why does it have to be webcams? Well, whatever. What else happened in the YouTube? I'm not really talking about the goddamn videos, and I'm 8 minutes in almost. This is going to be a miserable failure. But I'm going to upload it anyway, because, yeah, no matter how bad it is. So, I did watch some Brett Keane videos. Brett Keane's been back for a bit. He talked about how there's no real majority of people, basically, the same old, a majority of people on the net are fucking idiots. And what the fuck do you expect? I mean, majority of people who are on the net, especially on a site like YouTube, they're basically kids just taking a break from classes and homework. There's something to do in between. So it's sad, and it's even sadder that the majority of the adults who are who actually do have the mental capacity to grasp that a lot of the issues that we talk about are actually important. But you know, they're also tied up by the fact that they sort of impose responsibilities on themselves, because they fall for the I need my family psychological trap, and then they end up sort of just stuffed with all these responsibilities and the kids and the, you know, bills, and you know, so they really do live this bubbled existence. So that's why I think one of the best things to talk about is the fact that we don't really need to have families to live a productive life. We actually need to not create the conscious being. and focus on improving, or not improving, but focus on eliminating the suffering of the already conscious beings who are living in pretty shitty conditions. But that's the standard adoption argument, and I don't know why I want to make that, because I wouldn't adopt anyone. But maybe somebody who's fairly wealthy and can't have their own kids maybe shouldn't be so obsessed with having their own kids, and should maybe instead just adopt. This didn't go over too well. I had about 10 more things to talk about, so maybe I'll do a part 2. Yeah, I'll do a part 2.